Team, welcome to the day one for our latest training session for QTP. This is the November 27th batch, and hence I'm going to call this as N27. This is the day one session, and as always, I wish to get going straight into QTP. However, there are a few common questions that have come out from participants, and hence I'm trying to address those common questions through this forum. So I'm going to go about these questions to begin with, and then we will get into our day one session itself. So the first question that keeps coming from people is the prerequisites. Prerequisites, because some of the participants are absolutely beginner level into IT, or participants are in QA but have no programming skills, or participants who've been working in QTP but have not done significant amount of frameworks, descriptive programming, and so on. All right. So there are three levels of participants that typically take up this training. The way this training is built is kind of one course fits all. There are close to about 80 to 100 hours of sessions in total that you need to watch and practice to master this tool. What we will be doing is a quick overview of end-to-end QTP, or the most important features in this coming up 15 odd sessions. All of these sessions are also there in the video option, and hence when you watch the videos, you're automatically covering all this we're going to do in the live. So unless someone specifically is interested to attend live, go through a predefined schedule and be able to follow that as a rhythmic process, I would recommend the video option is a great option. Also do note that there are over 100 participants currently in this session, and they continue to be there. So from a question and answer or interaction perspective, it is not going to be highly interactive, but all the questions will get answered. So prerequisites, nothing specific. All I wanted each of you to do was to watch some of my videos which I had mentioned and I put on the website. So once you go into itelearn.com, I am still to index some of my menu and so on, but you can get to the pricing section, look at QTP course content, and once you look at the QTP course content, you will see the different topics that have been outlined. All right. So go to the click here. You will see the different topics that have been outlined. This is the chapter 1, the fundamentals, QTP and VBScript fundamentals. I had requested each of you to watch the first 3-day sessions so that you get a good overview. So the intent is that once you watch them, you get a strong overview of what we're going to be doing, and then it becomes easy for us to catch up things quickly. All right. While we try and still achieve this, you should still watch these sessions. Okay. There is a new plugin which asks you to share this page to watch the remaining part of the content. So I will try and disable. I'm trying to work on the web development portion of it. But meanwhile, you can try and share it, and then you should be able to see the remaining portion of the content. Okay. Now, as part of that, there are also different other chapters. All the registered members, I will provide you the login details so that you could join the session out here, and you should be able to watch all the videos. So if you go to this all QTP training chapters link, here is where you will see all the different sessions that are already present for access. So I have not logged in right now. So if, for example, I go to QTP data driven framework using read and write from Excel, there will be about 9 videos, close to about 8.5 hours. And that videos is only available for the paid members. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing is giving access to all the members as part of the course, all these different chapters, many chapters for you to go through. What we will be doing is at a high level, go through some of these important features in this 15 sessions. We will take 1 or 2 projects and continue from there. Okay. So going back to the prerequisite portion, you could be someone who is a beginner, absolutely. You could be someone who's working in QA and so on. The only difference is how much time you spend practicing what I show. 80 hours is the content. So some people are able to practice with 80 hours, and within 150 hours they're able to complete and master this tool. Other participants may take close to, let's say, 200 hours or 300 hours to practice. Okay, it is all about the amount of effort you need to spend in doing it. All right. Now, next one is software for practice. So as part of that welcome kit that each of the participants will get, you will be sent a download link for HP QTP version 10, which is not available on the HP site, a trial version for you to start practicing on HP QTP version 10. Okay. If you have already not installed QTP 11, you could use the 30-day trial version that comes from HP website directly. The instructions for this will be sent to you. If you've already used it and you have an issue with the trial and so on, there are hundreds of solutions already present in Google group. It's a private community that each of the confirmed members will be given access to. You can start looking for solutions which will help you there. What happens when you get questions during practice? Yes, and your typical questions may not come up when we are going through this session. Your questions may be coming up more when you start practicing, and practice is the key portion of this entire training. So if you need to be, when you're practicing and when you get questions, two solutions. One is log into the Google group, all right, and search for if there are solutions that are already posted in there for that question. Okay, the groups is a very active forum. Let me see if I can quickly show you by logging in. The groups is a very active forum that you can look into and start accessing different questions that have already put there. Or you can also start posting new questions in there, and either the other members in the group, the thousands of members there, will respond back to you, or I have a tech team which is looking and monitoring into this. They will also respond back to you. You will also have access to contacting the tech team over email. You can send them your questions directly as well if you don't want to put it in the group. Okay. Duration of the course. So as I said, we will do about 15 hours, 15 sessions to cover some of the important features of QTP. This would take between 3 to 5 sessions a week. Sometimes we will do 3 sessions only a week. Sometimes we may do 5 sessions a week. So we are looking at about 4 to 5 weeks to complete. Hopefully before end of December, we'll complete this thing. Okay, this whole course. However, while we have only 15 hours of live sessions, I will be guiding you through each and every time what sessions you need to watch before the next. So there is a lot of interaction that you need to do. You need to be able to go back and continue to practice or watch more sessions before the next one. Okay. I've also answered version of QTP, no tech questions in this session. Okay. So few of you started asking me technical questions. I don't mind giving answers to them, but the only thing is we are not yet there. So the other participants, it could be more challenging to start giving questions. Placement assistance team, I have not focused on it extensively. As I get requests for jobs, I try and identify people and so on. But once I start something on that area, I will communicate. Right now, I don't have a program focused on that. Okay. What is the focus of this training? Very simple. As I always say, QTP is all about VB scripting, and it is about automation frameworks. That is what we will get into. Okay, that is what the whole focus of this live sessions are going to be. All right. If there are additional questions that were important but not answered, please put them in the chat. I will start picking them right away. Okay. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to prepare a folder so that we can start to do some experimenting around. So N27 is the name of this batch. What was the last one that I did batch? September, is it? F. Yeah, I don't think I did anything after Feb 22nd. Yeah, I'm going to take that. So I'm just basically taking a template that I can use. Is there any break planned during December holidays? I will always give break for holidays that are coming up or that may come up. Okay. If there's a holiday in between, you'll definitely get a break. Now, will I be able to complete what we've started before then? I'm not sure. But in case we need to, we will break for Christmas and New Year. We may have sessions in between or we may not. So that we will look into it. Okay. Okay, salary calculator. This is interesting. We can do this. Let me see if I could use that website first, please. So any other questions, please? For fresh IT QA participants, is it recommended to go for automation directly or first start with manual? Okay, so here is what I would suggest. Okay, while there is availability to go in and start looking at the QA videos, the QA tutorials are already ready on my website. You can do the you can start with manual testing and then come to QTP and then go about these videos, or you can go with QTP also. This course, either way is fine. But the only thing is this is focused specifically on something. Anyone can learn it, doesn't matter on your background. It is just about how long it will take for you to practice and so on, as I mentioned. All right. So this is the website I had taken last time. It's been ages since, in fact, I've worked with this website, but let's see if we can go about it. Aslam, please send an email about that later, please. Okay, which days we meet in? Okay. Trial license thing, I've already mentioned, Eddie. Okay, I think this is good. Let's get started, team. Okay, we're gonna get started and start exploring a few more things and then go about. Now, I have asked people to watch some of these videos earlier. I hope you have done. If you have not, that is fine. We can still go through the session, and the only difference is we will go in a little bit more faster manner. So you'll need to catch up with it. Okay. Let me quickly log in to the Google group to show you the discussion forum. My groups. So QTP eLearn, and then there's a Selenium eLearn. So all questions are put in here. Okay, so these are activities that are happening on a daily basis. You will see there are different questions coming in on a daily basis. There are thousands of members in this group. You could first go in and search for any topics out here and see if there is a solution to it. There are already close to 2,300 topics in this overall groups. Okay, so it's not a public group, it's a private group only for the members. This is the technical question and answer sessions. Okay. All right, team. So let's get started. Now, what is it that we're going to do? How are we going to work? The way we will work is very simple, team. We will go about executing a project, assuming like this is something we have joined a team, a company, which is going to pay us, and how a real-time project will look like. Okay. We will start with something as a very, very simple project and slowly go advance into something more complex. So we are saying that let's talk about giving a project one, starting with the first project on QTP automation. Now, what is QTP? What is automation? We're going to come to it. But first, it is always about what is it that we're trying to do and why do we need to automate it. All right. To do this, I always need help of a website, any application that is there. What is an application, team? What the application is the entire functionality or features combined together in a UI, user interface, that is available for us that any user can use. You develop an application, you host the application, people can access it and start using its features. Okay. So every application is supposed to be behaving in a certain manner. Now, as part of the best practices of developing a proper application, it is to ensure that the application is defect free or with minimal defects as possible. What do we mean by this? We mean that the application is supposed to behave in a certain manner. Is it behaving in that manner? For example, if I'm developing a car, if I'm manufacturing a car, if I'm turning the steering clockwise, it's not supposed to turn the car left side. right? It is supposed to be turning the car the right side. So those are specific features and functionalities that have been put into it. So the whole process of testing is to ensure that we are trying to deliver a product that is as defect free as possible. And to do that, we need to be able to play around with that application like real users do and perform lots of different structural practices on it to ensure that this application behaves in the correct manner. Okay. Now, the importance is not about the application we take, but the importance and focus is trying to master VB script and the concepts of automation frameworks as we go along. Okay, and that is the reason the focus initially is on simple applications that are easy to understand for everyone, and that way we can go about slowly, gradually increasing the complexity of what we do. All right. Now, we are talking about so far, why do we need to be testing and so on, right? So how does an individual start testing? Let's say if this is the application. Actually, I want to try if this chastudentloans.com is also there. This was something we tried earlier. It's very interesting because it's also got the drop downs and a lot of other things. Budget calculators. There you go. All right. Yeah, this is good. This is a good one to experiment around. Now, what we are trying to do, team, is let's say that you have joined a company or you are now part of a project within Chase. You're part of the testing team and you are given the option to test and see if a specific functionality called budget calculator is working correctly or not. Okay. Let's say this whole box out here represents the overall functionality of an application. Okay. You pick up a specific portion of that application and start to test that application. Okay. For each development or each functionality, you have multiple people, teams, and so on working on it. Okay. And there is a development team for each project and there is a testing team. Sometimes you could be working on multiple projects. So I'm saying that budget calculator is a small functionality and you have been assigned the task of testing it. So to test it, the first thing that you need to do is try and plan what you do. Okay, try and plan and come up with something that is really good in terms of how you go about. So here is a very simple template that I've been using for a long time that I would like to use to show you how things will work. Okay, so this is a template that will help me to test and automate properly. Okay, so now let me first delete some of the old content. I don't need this and go about writing it. So here I have the first 3 boxes here to put some basic overview information about what I need to be testing. And right now we are not talking about QTP, we are talking about manual testing. How do we go about doing it? Simply as a manual test engineers. What is the application or application under test? You will see this term called AUT being referred and used in a lot of places. Okay, so please be familiar with AUT. In this case, what we're going to be doing is we will put our URL in here and say that, hey, you know what, this is the application to test. What is the functionality we want to test, and see that budget calculator is working correctly or not. So to do this, what you could do, we are talking about this functionality. Now, are you a master? Do you right now know what is this functionality? No, but look at it, this functionality. We've taken an application that has a simple functionality so that it is easy for you to understand what we're trying to do. Now, 1 second, please. All right, team, sorry. So this is a functionality that fairly is easy for a lot of members to understand. Okay. Now, what is it that we're trying to do here? this is a functionality built for a user who's probably applying for a student loan. So it could be a parent of a student who's trying to see what kind of expense and income they have and how they can calculate their loans and so on, or a student itself that is trying to apply for the loans. Okay, as part of this, a user is someone who will come into this application and start using it, will come in and start entering different expenses that he or she is going to be spending on a monthly basis as part of their learning process. So they need tuition fees, they need books and supplies, they need to be staying somewhere, they need food, clothing, and a lot of other miscellaneous activities. So a user could come in and start entering information, and automatically it should start calculating how much is the total expense, what is the total income, how much is the amount they need to borrow. So this is the information that is available online as this application. Okay, so what you have here are expenses, what you have here is income, and what you will get finally is the result. Your task is to ensure and see if this is working correctly or not. So as a manual test engineer, how would you go about doing it? What are the steps you will perform? Okay, there is a functionality you could put and expand this and probably say that enter various expenses and income and verify if the loan calculation is correct. Is that the only thing we need to be testing, team? No, there are lots of things. Is this font correct? Do I see all the fields here? Labels here? Do I see all the fields here? Is it okay if I don't enter a decimal space? What will happen if I enter text out here? So there are multiple verifications. Okay, there are different things that you need to verify. Each of those things, team, that you need to verify becomes a test scenario or a test case. Okay, all those functionalities that we need to verify, we as manual test engineers create something called as test cases for them. Okay, now you are focusing on one bit right now, because that way we will learn how to automate and go forward. Now, as part of this, what we will perform are these steps. We will open the browser, go to the application URL, enter values into the application, process, okay, enter values into the application. I'll say expense and income. Process the, okay, hit click calculate loan button, capture the results, compare the results, and close browser. Okay, now I don't remember why I kept some of these in gray, but basically some of these are just verifications. But as manual test engineers, this is what we will perform. Okay, we will open the browser, we will go to the application, enter expense and income values, click calculate loan buttons, look at the results, compare the results, and close the browser. All right, that is how we typically start performing the operations. Now, is this how you will do manually? Yes. So if you send the sheet to anyone to understand, they will be able to easily understand what has to be done. Okay, manually open the browser, yes, but which browser? IE or Firefox or Chrome, or what are we talking about? Okay, and if it's Firefox, which version? Luckily we have mentioned the browser here, so there is no confusion in that. Let's say which application URL. Application URL is also here. Enter expense and income values. So this is yes. This is yes, but what values? Any random values or specific values, right? Click on calculate loan button. If you want to click on calculate loan button, where is the browser? Okay, this is Y is for yes or no. I'm saying Y means yes, and we are saying what we understand and what we don't understand. Okay, click the calculate button. This is easy for us because we see it on the application. I can easily click on it. Capture the results. Okay, yes, these are some things that we as humans can understand because we can think through, but these are not descriptive enough for an automation system to understand. What does it mean? If I need to automate, what is it that I need to know? There are in fact three things. One, I need a tool which will perform the automation. But more importantly, I need to be a good instructor and I need to give the correct instructions to this tool, and then it will go about performing it. For me to be a good instructor, I need to know exactly how this tool works and how I need to communicate with this tool and how I can give instructions to it. This becomes your understanding of the tool, VB script, and the overall automation process. Now, you're aware, team, QTP comes with two options. One is you could do a direct record and run, all right, or you could do something which is more predominantly used in the practical job industry, and that is to write your own script, add your own objects, and work in that fashion, right? Now, I am out here on step 3. Enter expense and income values into the application. As part of entering expense income values, what values? Random values, or is there a predefined set of values? Okay. So if I get an error on a given set of values, then I need to capture that so that tomorrow someone can reproduce that defect and go and identify, hey, for this set of data, it is failing. Why is it failing only for a given set of data? If I enter a different set of data, it seems to be working fine. Okay. So the same functionality of entering a few expenses, entering a few incomes, and calculating and verifying the total is being exposed or tested for different sets of data. And that, my friends, will become your data-driven framework. Okay. This first project is actually day 1. Today is the day 1 for the first data-driven project that we will go through. Okay. Now, as part of this project, how do we go about doing it? I will very quickly, briefly show you how we're going to do it using QTP record and run, just so that you know what it is, how it is working. Again, assuming that you've seen the videos as prerequisite, I'm still wanting you to look at it at a high level, and then we will go about into the remaining portions. Okay. Okay. As part of this practice team, I'm using QTP 10. You could use QTP 10 or QTP 11. Does not matter. There's not a significant amount of a difference. There are a few feature differences, but for both practice and from your learning perspective, either tool and version is fine. Now, the first thing that you would do is once you open up QTP, the instructions for downloading, installing, and customizing the tool for your application, for your specific system, will be sent to you or is already sent to all the registered participants as part of that welcome pack. If you have any questions on it, write to the technical support team email address which is there in the welcome pack, or send it to learn@itlearn.com. Okay. Now, as part of this, QTP is a Windows-based application. Basically, though it can work on other OSs also, it is an application which has a specific look and feel. It has a menu bar. It has a lot of features. It has the main page that you can play around with and so on. Let's go quickly into the test page. The test page is the main action. Okay. This is the UI that you'll typically see when you have QTP installed. While we have this UI, you would notice that there are different window frames. There's something on the left side called test flow. There's something out here that will keep coming and so on. Now, as part of this process of we trying to perform an automation on a specific application, we will use this specific view, or any view is fine. You could keep changing the size, what appears where, and so on. The first thing that I think you should be doing is doing a simple record and see if QTP can start recognizing the objects on the application. Now, what is this process of record? Record is a process of me as an instructor giving instructions to QTP that QTP, look at what I am doing and try and understand them and repeat them when I ask you to repeat it. Okay. Record the steps that I perform. Okay. When in a record mode, you will see QTP trying to perform a few steps accordingly. Let me open the application after I've opened QTP and see if I can quickly start to work with it. Now, Here's my application. Where is QTP? Is here. And then we get into the record process. Okay. This is the section which tells you to give specific record and run settings if you want to put it. Okay. Record and run test on any open browser is the option that we will choose because our application is already open. Or you could also give it an instruction saying that, hey, you know what, when we want to open the following browser, when we want to record or run this test, open the following application URL in a specific browser. All right, we already have the application open, so we will keep it open. Apply and say OK. Now, at this process, what QTP is going to do is QTP will get into this recording mode, a mode where it can try and understand what we will perform on a given application. So if I'm going to the application, oops, ensure your zoom is always set to 100% team, otherwise it will have an issue. Now I don't even know what version this is, but let's see. Review student loan FAQs. Is this getting recorded even? Nope, this is not getting recorded. Let's see. Protected mode is off. This is recording. Stop. There are a few settings that we need to change. Let me try and quickly change some settings on the system and go about doing those. Internet options, security, enable protected mode, custom level, low, trusted sites low, internet medium high low. This is the sites is okay. Apply, okay. Record. Now let's see if it starts to recognize. There you go. Okay, so I have reset the settings of this application. This is a new system. I have not used QTP on this before. So for it to work, I needed to go back and make the system setting changes on the browser so that it can start recognizing. Now, why did I need to make those changes? I needed to make those changes because the security on my system is disabling automation tools like QTP to perform operations or actions that can get automated because they can lead to unhandleable or even insecure actions and so on. For the security point of view, those things are by default disabled. What I did is I went to the tools, I went to internet options, I went to the security portion, I went to each zone and I put the levels of protection to low for that. Now, this makes your system a little bit more vulnerable, but at the same time, if you need to work with such tools, you will have to do this, okay? There is no other option. Now, what I've done is I have automatically, as I started to do a record, a few steps started to get recorded. I don't need them, so I'm going to stop that, okay? Now, this is a test which is getting generated. A lot of things will get added as part of this. I don't need it. I will open a brand new test. So I'm going to go to File, New, and open a test there. I don't want to save changes to this one because it was just an experiment. Now, let's start again with this record process. Okay, there's my app QTP. Here's my application. Is this the URL? Yep. Now I want QTP to start to record and understand a few things. Now, this whole process of recording, team, what QTP is going to be doing at the back end is a bunch of different operations. It is not just one specific command or operation it is doing. It is going to be doing a bunch of different operations. Now, if you have watched those 3 videos that I've asked you to watch, by now you will have a lot of comfort level in what I'm doing. Let me load this application. There you go. But if you have not, please do go back and watch it. So again, record, say okay. This is again, come back here. I'm going to move it to the right side so I can see what is happening in QTP, and I will also see what I am doing out here. What record is going to do, team, is it will go and do 2 specific things. What is it that I am doing? And where is it that I'm doing? there are two questions that QTP will try and get answers to. What am I doing and where am I doing that? The what portion is the specific method that will perform on a given application. It is like clicking a link, or it is like entering a text, or it is like selecting something from a drop-down list and so on. The where portion is identifying where am I clicking, where am I entering the text, and so on. Okay, so this is what it is going to capture, the what and the where portion. Now, how is it going to do? Let's experiment. Okay, so recording, and here's the application. Let's go enter something in the Tuition and see if there's anything that happens to the test here. As soon as I enter that, you would see a one line of a code getting generated. This is your VB script statement. This is your VB script code that is getting generated. This is the one which is answering both the what is it that we are doing and the where part, right? So I've entered a Tuition. Let's enter a job income, let's say about 350. Okay, and each time I enter or perform some operation, you will see a new line of code is getting generated. Not only is this code getting generated in a portion called as expert view, and this is, my friends, the main portion where you need to focus. All that we will do as part of this training and as maximum part of what you do in your practical world is going to be under expert view. There is another keyword view which is primarily not a great feature for someone who's learning VB scripting, someone who's done VB scripting. Okay, if you don't know VB scripting, then you can use keyword view. You have to master VB scripting as part of this training and what you need in practical world. So stay in expert view only. Okay, now these two lines generated, but at the same time there is something called as an object repository that will get generated. Click on this drum of colors, the stack of different colors that you will see. Okay, this is the map that QTP is generating, answering the where portion. Okay, it is trying to very intelligently identify that yes, we are performing something. Where are we performing? That portion is getting identified in this object repository. If you are a first-time listener, you're being introduced to these concepts. We will go on repeating the same things over and over again for a period of few days. So you will get this into your system very well. Okay. Right now, this is just to point to you and say that there is an object repository and there is an expert view. We will try and focus in these two portions for the next few sessions. Okay. In fact, what we're going to be doing is all around these areas for the next few sessions. So team, before I go forward, any questions please? And if you have questions now team, let it be related to what we are doing as part of this session so far. Let it not go to the course overviews and all those things, please. How did I go to the object repository? Okay, so you could go to the object repository by clicking on this icon here. Do you see this icon? Object repository. That will open up the object repository. I will come back and explain you what this object repository is going to be doing very soon. All right. QTP is primarily built. It's not primarily a cross-browser testing tool. Its primary focus is functional testing on IE. All right. Yeah, I have not used it on Mac, but QTP has different versions that you could use it. I would strongly recommend that you use it on Windows application. All right. All right, Brad, Ed, everyone, the trial version of QTP, the installation instruction, everything will be sent to you as part of the welcome pack. Okay. If you have questions on other things like license and so on, I am not the one who will support it, but you could connect with the group members and find out how they are practicing. Okay. Now, let me not divert onto those areas. Let these questions be technical, please. Now, what we have done is we've generated a couple of lines of code and a few things are getting added to the object repository. I want to keep this object repository here. The expert view is here. the application is here and go about continuing to do the instruction and see what all are getting generated. So I'm going to click on calculate now. Now when I clicked on calculate, you will see line number 3 has got generated, plus you will see something has got added into the object repository. Okay, object repository is a collection of the where portions. Okay, QTP recognizes everything on the application as objects. Once it knows that these are objects, then objects have some specific information and properties that we can use it for. Okay, now at this time, let me quickly give you an overview of what objects are. Okay, and why does QTP use the object model to start working. Object, anything in the real world you can talk about as objects. Okay, the objects are basically items that you can play around with. 1 second, team. Sorry, team. So objects is kind of a replication of our real world objects in the software world also. Okay, so an object could be something like a cell phone in a real world object. An object could be something like a table, a radio button, or a checkbox, or a edit field, or a link, and so on in the software world. Okay, so what are objects? How do we work with objects? Basically, there are three specific criteria that you need to understand. Every object team has a specific recognition features, okay, and they are called its identifications. Okay, for example, if it's your cell phone have some unique numbers at the back or under the battery cage, and they are used to identify that specific device. If it is your car, there is a license plate number or a VIN, vehicle identification number, that is used to identify that. If it is an individual, a person, something like a social security number, a PAN number, or an email address is used to identify the those specific people, right? Similarly, for QTP to identify any object in an application, it has to get some identification properties and start using it to identify. Okay, now for example, very simple team, if among the entire class that I have, okay, let's say there are about 100 participants in this session. If I say Ed right now, there could be more than one person with this name in this session. Am I pointing to the right person? No. Then what do? I say Ed who is from California, or if I say Ed who is from Florida, then I'm narrowing down those choices, correct? So to get to identify something or someone specific, I need to be able to provide enough details through which I can uniquely identify the person. Each of those things that I use to identify are called as properties. Okay, every object has properties team. All right, properties are the one that define what an object is. Okay, so for example, if I say Ed is an object, or let's say a car itself. Okay, what are the properties for a car? The car has 4 wheels. It has if it's a passenger sedan, then it's a 5-seater. It's got an engine. It's got a steering. It's got a dashboard, and so on. Are any of those used to identify a specific car? No, because there are hundreds and thousands of cars with the same type. Okay, you can classify cars or identify them holistically at a high level by giving few properties and say that, you know what, it's an Acura, or you can say that it is a BMW, a Beamer 5 Series or whatever, and a color, and you're narrowing down on it. But a specific information that will uniquely identify will become your identification properties. Okay, the other properties are basically used to describe that object, and they can become description properties. Okay, so we will look at properties at length, because the where portion of QTP will get answered when we master the art of properties. Okay, And objects are by itself not doing anything, but you can perform different activities on objects. And those methods or actions that we can perform on these objects are called basically as that what part. Okay, those are the methods or activities that we can perform. For example, if Ed, let's say, is an object, or it's not an object but it's a human, but let's say in this software world, then what can I do? I can email Ed, I can talk to Ed, I can interact with Ed, I can go watch a movie with Ed, I can work with Ed. There's so many things that I could do, right? I could also do similarly depending on the type of object, like let's say a cell phone, there are specific activities that I could do. If it's a car, then I can drive the car, I can park the car, and so on. Okay. The identification properties, there are descriptive properties, and there are methods for the objects. This is what you got to remember, team. With this, now we can better understand what is going to be happening here. Okay. So at this time, team, we're almost at 6 p.m. This is a session in continuation. So tomorrow when we get here, we will be going at a faster and a deeper space. I wanted you to introduce you to a few features and start you to have a feel of what we're trying to do. At this time, before I end the session, I'm going to save this test as into our new folder that we created called N27, and I'll just call it as test 1 and save this. Okay. So any questions technically on what we have done today that I could answer, please? So at this point, while you put the questions, let me quickly explain. At this point, what we did is we did a record. Now, when I do a run, QTP is going to perform the operation of trying to repeat those steps again on that application. Okay. Now, how is this important? How is this useful for us? We will be coming to it in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session, we'll also get into how can we start identifying what this code is. How can we start to write this code and structure ourselves for the next few sessions? All right. Good. So any questions that I could help with? Let me see if I could pick up a few of these questions. Okay. Checkpoint and output object in object repository. Yeah. So we will come to, if you notice, there are various features out here. Okay. There are lots of features that are important for us to know. There are a few features that we can omit. Every feature we will touch upon, we will go through it, and I'll show you how it is, either through this live or the videos, all the important features. Okay. So checkpoints are something that we will cover as part of the videos. There are videos on it already, but I'll mention what they are when we get to descriptive programming. Let's see. Do we need to write test cases in Excel before automating in the application? Yes. So right now, what we did is just trying to play around with QTP and see how it behaves. Now we're going to go back tomorrow and write the test case and then perform that on QTP, how we go about doing it. Okay. I have QTP 11 version supports Firefox and Chrome is that too. So I have not specifically used QTP extensively for cross-browser testing, and because Selenium is a great tool to do that. Now, QTP works fine with IE. It has a good amount of work with Firefox also, but there are challenges. Okay, but you could try and experiment it around and see, like I am doing, and how it's going to work on different other browsers. Let's see, Kishore, what's your query? Can you please respond to the query? What's the query, Kishore? Okay, does this work apart from? Yeah, I've already answered this, right? Can you give the description for test cases again? Test cases again. Okay. Team, go back, look at this video. When I start tomorrow, I will explain what test cases are once again in that. Okay. Let's see. Will we learn how to connect to an Oracle or Access database or just using the Excel? I have shown the database connection at a very, very detailed manner as part of the recorded sessions. Okay. You can watch them and get the answers right away for it. How you connect QTP to different databases. Can you please explain why QTP was not identifying the objects when browser security settings set to high? The reason, Sumit, is because my OS operating system was preventing a tool like QTP from identifying. Why? Lot of these viruses that you find over the internet are tools that can automatically perform certain steps on your system. Okay, so the security of your system tries to stop these viruses from acting on their own and performing things. Okay, QTP is also a tool that can learn and perform specific operations on your system. It can open a browser, it can start automatically doing a lot of things and so on, and you may specifically want to prevent or let it happen. If that is the case, then you need to give instructions, and that is what you could do by turning down those security settings. Object repository, furthermore, tomorrow. Will you share this required session? It will be hosted automatically on the website team. I will be sending the link. You could look at it out there. Let's see. I see a lot of questions. I'm trying to pick up if there are specific questions that I could use. Okay. Team, what is covered, what is not covered, let us not use this session. Please, let us use the sessions to identify what we have done so far. All right. All right. I see a lot of other questions. Let me see quickly, please. Oops, sorry. What did I do? The only way to use QTP is to record the steps. Now, I'm just showing you one way to record, which is not something that we will do from tomorrow. All right. To test mobile application, our emulator is the only option. So, Nalini, again, these are the questions you need to use when we get there to that topic, or please post them in the Google group. All right, team. So, I'll see you tomorrow. If there are any questions that were important and not answered, please feel free to put them as we start our session the first thing tomorrow. Okay. I want you to go back and watch the videos. You can also repeat this video. We haven't really explored too much on QTP, but tomorrow we're going to be doing that. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate each of you joining in. I will see you back tomorrow again. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now. Thank you, everyone. Bye.